Hello, fellow members of the Midnight Society. Welcome back to another episode review from the show Are You Afraid of the Dark? Last time, we covered The Tale of a Door Unlocked, a Gary story about a shy kid who buys a magic door that lets him see into the future. Tonight's narrative, from Sam, is about a teen girl volunteering at a hospital where people start to go missing. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this Season 5, Episode 13, The Tale of the Night Shift. We open on Gary and Sam having an awkward run-in at the campfire. Betty Ann asks Gary about the situation, and it's revealed that Gary officially asked Sam on a date, and, well, I'll just let Gare Bear tell you how it went.
She said she liked me too, but didn't want to get in a relationship right now because she had a lot going on, and bottom line is she doesn't want to have anything to do with me.
Okay. This explains why it's the last season with the OG crew. Gary snapped and murdered everyone after tonight. Well, except for Tucker, his cleaner. Everyone else arrives at the campfire, and Sam begins the preamble for her story.
It's a story about illusion and deception.
So, Gary.
It could be beautiful or mysterious.
Still Gary.
Or like in my story, something evil.
Yeah, Gary. Also, full disclosure, I'd somehow never seen this episode before this review. Not as a kid or as an adult, so some of the thoughts in this recap were my raw reactions to seeing it for the first time.
Who cares?
The tale begins on a hospital as visiting hours are coming to a close and a shift change is happening for the evening. A young maintenance man named Felix is getting yelled at by some administrator for a water pump that's gone missing.
Is this your signature, Zebo?
Wait, what did he call him?
Zebo.
Okay, is this supposed to be a reference to Zebo the Clown, as in he's calling Felix a clown? If so, I've got a question. How does Sam know this reference? She didn't join until Season 3, and the Zebo story was Season 1. Now look, I know there have been Zebo references in other stories since then, but there's no way each storyteller gave a history of Zebo while telling their stories. We've also heard the word Zeb in a David story in Season 1, used as a diss, so maybe in-universe, Zeb or some play on it is a common slang term that all the kids would know, so I'm not going to harp on that. But if that is the case, why is a hospital administrator using a derogatory term on a volunteer? ? There's no way this kid works at the hospital. He's too young. All right, I'm not going to go on about that particular detail because I'm sure it's an isolated thing.
I don't think so.
As Felix runs off to find the water pump, he runs into our main character, Amanda, who is just arriving at the hospital. Now, Amanda is a face I recognize and is played by Emmanuel Shrieky, who has gone on to star in many other things, but got a lot of prominence after appearing on Entourage almost a decade after this. Most recently, she could be seen as Lana Lang on Superman and Lois. Anyway, Amanda is arriving at the hospital to... Wait. She's in high school, right? What would she be doing at a hospital at this hour?
I got school till 3, then track practice, homework, and dinner. If I want to volunteer, it's the night shift.
No, it's not. Most hospitals end visiting hours around 8 or 9 p.m. No one under 18 is volunteering at a hospital at night. I don't want it to bother me, but it's going to bother me, especially because if you wanted to set it in a hospital at night, just make everyone patient so that it makes sense. Anyway, Amanda and Nurse Lorette report in to Nurse Hanton to get their assignments.
Number 7's in pre-op for bright and early, and number 5 wants her mommy. I thought the night shift was supposed to be quiet.
Will Nurse Lorette be getting into scrubs, or at the very least the nurse uniform we see all the other nurses wearing? Because right now, she's not even wearing hospital-approved pants. How do I know? Because you can see the big brown leather Levi's label on the back of her white jeans. Nurse Hanton takes Amanda to meet a new volunteer that she is to take under her wing.
Margot, Amanda, Margot.
You picked the night shift too?
Yeah, school kind of takes up a lot of the day.
Well, she's evil. Mysterious new volunteer on the same night when whatever is going to happen is going to happen? Coincidence? Methinks not. Anyway, we transition to the furnace below the hospital where Felix is looking for the water pump. He doesn't find it, but he does find...
Come here. I want to show you something.
Felix, buddy, unless you know this person, attractive ladies don't just hang out in dark hallways below hospitals. Please tell me you were not falling for this. Damn it, Zebo! Felix, turn back before it's too late.
You know, I don't think we're supposed to...
We are gathered here to remember dear, sweet Felix. He died as he lived. A complete Zeeb. Back upstairs, Nurse Lorette tells Amanda that a patient in room 59 is a friend of hers. She goes to investigate, and while she knows the guy, I don't think she would call him a friend.
What?
And you can take care of me. You want some candy corn?
Sure.
Oh, come on, it was a goof.
Yeah, Amanda, he was just having a goof, like his cousin Jam.
Hey, we're just having a goof.
Apparently, Colin here has the hots for Amanda, but she's not interested. It doesn't stop him from pursuing her, though. In the hallway, Nurse Lorette hears a little girl call for her.
Hello?
Now, blink and you miss her, but according to IMDb, this little girl is played by Alicia Cuthbert, who would go on to join the cast of the show as one of the storytellers just 3 years later. Anyway, Nurse Lorette asks the girl what room she's in, resulting in...
Hey, you're not supposed to...
Lorette heads into what I'd like to call a dark part of the hospital, except let's just run through the hospital footage real quick. Yeah, this is the darkest f***ing hospital in the history of hospitals. The only way this place could be any darker is if it were lit by candles. Anyway, the nurse thinks that the little girl is playing hide and seek, completely oblivious to the doom that awaits her. We are gathered here to remember Nurse Lorette. She died as she lived, in high-waisted Levi's. May the Holy Ghost hold her as tightly as those jeans did in life. Amen. We cut back to Amanda and Colin. Colin keeps badgering Amanda, and suddenly we see that Amanda and Colin are just stand-ins for Sam and Gary.
All I want is one date.
I told you before. I think you're a nice guy, but I am too busy.
Oh, Gary must be listening to this story in complete resting bitch face right now. Anyway, Colin and Amanda are interrupted by a kid in a wheelchair and the evil one. Margot, the new volunteer. The kid says the hospital is boring and he wants to go visit the morgue. Margot assures Amanda that she can handle this kid, and the two go off. As they go, we get the following exchange between Amanda and Colin.
You're a patient. Pretend you're sick before we all get in trouble.
I'm sorry, is he really getting his tonsils out, or did he fake it to hound this girl into going out with him? And how do you fake that kind of thing? I mean, if he really is having surgery, I can tell you one thing, he wouldn't be allowed food right now. And I'm not saying it's impossible to sneak food in, but there's a reason they take your clothing and put you in a dress. Anyway, Amanda runs into Nurse Lorette, who isn't dead, but looks like she is.
Oh man, you scared me. That guy's in my class. He's been bugging me for months about...
Amanda, I know it's dark in that hallway, but how can you not see how pale she is? She's more pale than I am, and that's not easy. We cut to later on where Amanda is working in the same location Lorette got jumped when this happens.
Sorry, it's only me.
Stop bugging me.
Bro, you are this close to a restraining order. No means no. Colin claims that he can't sleep because his roommate has disappeared, but you're in a hospital. It wouldn't be unusual for someone to be taken off for testing or any number of other reasons. But Colin convinces Amanda to go with him to search for the kid by saying,
What are you waiting for? Do it!
Sadly, I feel like Shia is actually less aggressive than Colin in this situation. The two head off to search, and on the way, Colin says,
Hey, this is like the first time we're doing something together.
Yeah, my life is complete.
I'm with Amanda. F*** this kid. I've had a fair amount of rejections by the opposite sex over the years, and once or twice I may have made a second attempt, but never to this psychotic extent, and mainly I just respected the lady's decision and moved on. If this story ends with Amanda going on a date with Colin, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Get used to disappointment.
The two hear Nurse Hanton and duck into a closet to hide, where they discover
Blood storage bags.
Yuck. Looks like a rat got him.
Okay, dealing with a vampire, are we? I thought so, but our monster's green makeup could have very easily led to it being something else. This would also explain its ability to shapeshift, and it also means that the giggle that led Nurse Hanton away from the supply closet also led to her demise.
I found this in the closet empty. There's a ton of them in there.
Really? How strange.
Oh, I hate it when I'm right. Amanda, Please tell me you see here what you didn't see with Nurse Lorette. Damn it, Amanda. No, you know what? Nope. I still have faith in her, okay? I'm going to blame the shitty lighting in the hospital for this one. I mean, how does anyone receive quality health care when the doctors can't possibly see anything? Maybe that's how we have so many underage volunteers. The staff can't see who's working.
Are we playing hide and seek?
Amanda and Colin continue their search for the wheelchair kid, who is apparently named Bud. They venture to the morgue, which contains the only bright light in the hospital. Not the entire room, mind you, just the single bulb over the autopsy table. There is a body on the table covered by a sheet. Colin gets excited about the prospect of seeing a dead body and pulls the sheet back to reveal Felix. Wait, so somebody found him, brought him here, and didn't report to security that an employee was found dead with a bite on his neck? Or are we to assume that the vampire brought him here, even though no other victims were brought here and the rest of them have been seen walking around the hospital?
Oh, it's not so bad, really.
Amanda and Colin leave, but as they do, Felix wakes up, revealing that he is definitely now one of the undead. A short time later, Amanda and Colin arrive at the nurse's station. Nurse Hanton is nowhere to be found, and the phone is off the hook. Amanda checks it.
It's dead.
Just like old Felix.
Colin.
Really, dude? I know you didn't know the guy, but that's f***ed up. Amanda was clearly broken up over it, and you're just going to keep cracking jokes? Amanda, if you date this guy at the end of this story, I'm going to find Sam, and I'm going to have a strongly worded discussion with her about standing up for herself. Then I'm going to find Gary, and I'm going to punch him in the dick for making Sam feel so bad that she told this story.
Sorry. My fault.
Amanda and Colin run into the hospital administrator, Jack, who is looking just as pale as everyone else. They ask what happened to Felix, and Jack says,
Felix is just fine.
Amanda and Colin thankfully get the stranger danger vibes from Jack and run away when he asks them to come with him. They head into the stairwell where they encounter Felix, aka Zebo the vampire.
You're
Dead? Sort of.
Amanda and Colin run away, but Felix catches up with them and tries to bite Amanda. They get him off of her and ask what he's doing. He explains that something is wrong with him because he was the first victim and the vampire drank too much of his blood, making him the way he is, though we don't really know what that means. I'm guessing it explains his level of free will because he says that everyone else in the hospital has been fed on, but only enough to be the vampire's slaves. Also, he never says the word vampire at this point, and even though everything Amanda and Colin have encountered screams vampire, they continue to be oblivious.
I'm getting weaker. I don't know how much longer I can fight it.
Wait, what?
He is pale and has fangs. What the f*** do you think he's fighting? A tooth infection? We transition to a short time later where the three have ventured downstairs to where Felix was attacked. He is putting out some real Renfield vibes, bordering on comical. He reveals the vampire's coffin and finally says it's a vampire. Colin doesn't believe it. Considering the day Felix has had, he takes it quite well.
You want me to prove it to you? I'm fighting the change, but I can easily...
Amanda, you should have just let him bite him. It would have gotten him off your back. Well, until he turned into an undead killing machine with an obsession with you. Never mind, I take that back. Felix says that the vampire only needs its coffin, and that if they destroy the coffin, they can destroy the vampire. But he gets interrupted by Margot, who reveals that she is in fact evil.
You haven't been properly introduced yet.
I knew it! I knew it! Pay up! Oh, wait. I forgot to bet you all first. Damn it! I would like to point out that the transition from Margot into the vampire is one of the best visual effects they've done on the show. It is a great scary moment for the story. The vampire says that vamps only need to feed every 50 years or so, and that hospitals are like candy stores. You know how vampires love candy. The vampire lunges at Felix, saying that he should finish what he started, meaning that Felix is somehow in an in-between state, partially turned but not fully under the vampire's sway, which is weird, right? If he feeds slightly, you don't turn but become a slave. If he feeds too much, you slightly turn but have free will, and then I guess if he feeds just the right amount, you turn and become a slave again? That's a really inconvenient system for Goldilocks. I mean, the vampire.
People have it all wrong.
With the vampire distracted, Amanda and Colin make a run for it. As they try to leave the hospital, they encounter security, who are also slaves. Amanda says that she's scared, and Colin says,
Yeah, me too. This isn't exactly the first date I had in mind.
Will you let it go? Your lives are in danger. Just keep it in your pants for 5 f***ing minutes. You know what? I'm gonna choke him. Amanda gives a hint that her walls are breaking down. Oh goody. And at the prospect of a possible real date, Colin becomes invigorated. He says they can destroy the coffin. Amanda says that the vampire won't let anyone near it, so Colin proposes that he lure the vampire away while Amanda destroys the coffin. Amanda brings up a valid counterpoint, though.
There's no way I can move that big thing.
Amanda says that she'll lead the vampire away and Colin can destroy the coffin. He objects, but Amanda makes an argument that really emphasizes the dire situation they're in.
Do it! Just do it!
A twofer? Booyakashaya!
He's cute.
Now that she is focused and ready to be the bait, Amanda asks,
Got any more candy corn?
Okay, I see what she's doing. She's going to take the white tips of the candy corn, put them on her own teeth, and pretend to be a vampire to distract the master while simultaneously confusing him. Perfect!
Where do I lure this thing?
Or she's just going to eat them, sure. I mean, I know a lot of people hate candy corn, and while I love it, this doesn't really seem like the time or the place. Amanda heads to the elevators, leading the vampire upstairs. Meanwhile, downstairs, Colin reveals that he has superpowers. It's a metal door with a metal handle. Metal conducts heat like crazy. If he had touched that handle with his bare hand, it would have instantly cooked the skin. Anyway, while going through the hospital, Amanda encounters almost everyone else in their zombie-like slave form until she runs into Margot in the stairwell, causing her to head up to the roof. Back in the basement, Colin gets the coffin, but before he can burn it, he gets attacked by a now fully turned Felix the Vamp.
You wanted proof? Here it comes.
On the roof, the vampire chases Amanda to a ledge, saying that he doesn't like to work so hard for his food. Though I would like to point out that he's only walked around slowly, hardly burning any calories. But, I mean, do undead even burn calories? How does the physics... Whatever, that's not the point here. Anyway, he picks up Amanda and holds her over the ledge.
I shall drop you and then lick up what's left.
We are gathered here to remember Wait, what the f*** did he just say? He knows this is a kid's show, right? I should drop you and lick up what's left? Jesus Christ! Sorry? Back downstairs, Felix is about to bite Colin, who uses Amanda to bring Felix to his senses. With the vampire's hold temporarily broken, the two push the coffin into the furnace, which has the following effect up on the roof. I've never seen a vampire mythology where the creature is so tied to their coffin that it kills them if it gets destroyed, but I appreciate the unique take on the genre. With the vampire dead, everyone in the hospital is returned to normal with self-healing vampire bites and no memory of the night.
I remember. Thanks.
Huh. Am I the only one who's Team Felix over Team Colin here? Come on, Amanda, make the right choice.
What was that about a second date?
I'll have to check my schedule. But I'm pretty sure I can squeeze you in.
That's right, fellas. Wear them down and put them in a life-threatening situation, and you too can get them to say yes. What a life lesson. Thanks, Sam. Back at the Midnight Society, Gary tries to bolt as soon as the story ends without even putting out the fire. Sam stops him, and the others harass the two of them as they leave, with the exception of Betty Ann, who is corralling the others away so that Gary and Sam can have some privacy. Sam tells Gary what her story was about.
That story was about someone so busy, they missed a lot of possibilities. Maybe you and I have some possibilities.
What's funny is this is the same situation that's in Sam's story, only I don't mind it here because Sam and Gary have been into each other ever since she first appeared on the show. It's never felt one-sided. From the moment Colin pretended to be sick, the only vibe I got from Amanda was annoyance. Anyway, Gary is overjoyed and suggests that he put out the fire so they can go somewhere, but Sam says,
No, not yet. I want to watch it a little while longer.
wow. That That is a beautiful moment. And maybe I'm just a romantic, but I like to think they did some heavy over-the-clothes petting by that fire as well. And this completely changes my entire outlook on the ending of the OG Midnight Society. It didn't end because Gary killed everyone. It ended because he got a girlfriend and suddenly had better things to do on the weekend.
Really? That's great.
Now for the review. Well, based on the polls, if I don't like this one, there will be an angry mob at my door demanding blood. Fortunately, this is a pretty good episode. Good acting, good monster makeup, and a pretty decent setting. The only things that really hold it back are the lack of lore due to the short runtime and some plot holes that could have been easily remedied.
Don't annoy me.
The settings were good. It's in a hospital, which we haven't seen on Are You Afraid of the Dark before, and we spend the entire time in the hospital. The one thing I didn't care for was how dark everything was the whole time. I think the hospital should have started out brightly lit. Then, as each new person becomes the vampire's slave, sections of the hospital get darker until they were at the level they were in the episode.
I'll tell Nurse Hampton.
The story. The story was fine, simple, but fine.
Depends on your definition of fine.
As I stated early in my recap, even on my first viewing, I knew that Margot was bad. If I could redo this episode, and, I had to keep the teenagers volunteering at a hospital at night, I would have had both Amanda and Margot as the new volunteers. Spend time with each of them, sometimes together, sometimes apart, to where it seems like they're both the main characters. I'd also make Colin less familiar with Amanda and less of a stalker. Maybe they meet for the first time at the hospital and he becomes infatuated. I'd have him played more aloof as well so the audience suspects him of being the vampire. That way when we get the Margot reveal, it's a much bigger shock. Other than that, I'd have it play out similar to how it did.
No. The old-fashioned way is best.
The scares. You can't do a vampire episode without some scares. Oh wait, I forgot. Sorry, Nightly Neighbors actually managed to do that with no scares. Whoops. Fortunately, this episode makes up for that one. The vampire makeup was really good. Maybe a little too green, making him look like some other kind of undead creature, but still ghastly in a great way. While a lot of the scares were jump scares, they were executed well. Younger me wouldn't have found this one scary, but I was also really into vampires. Hell, I'd been playing Vampire the Masquerade since I was like 13, so I would have sunk my teeth into this episode big time. Pun intended.
What is with that guy?
I don't know.
The acting in this episode was fantastic. There were a lot of characters in the episode, so I'm just going to focus on the mains. Colin was the weakest link out of the bunch. Part of it was how the character was written, but I also didn't care for his delivery on a lot of his lines. Margot was great as the human form of the vampire. She was sweet when she needed to be, and her sinister turn was really fun. Felix was a standout for me. His struggle between being human and a vampire was really well performed, and I loved when he was in a scene. Amanda was a very strong lead. Every emotion she gave us, I believed, and I can really see how she went on to the success that she's had.
Tell me about it.
The adult acting was also great. While Lorette looked young, she is a nurse at the hospital, so I'm putting her in the adult category. She was good as that exhausted coworker that we've all known. Both Jack and Nurse Henton were convincing as overbearing administrators and seemed to, have fun as zombie slaves. Our vampire was top-notch. And even though, we barely get to see him in his vampire form, he was intimidating and delivers one of the most disturbing lines in Are You Afraid of the Dark history with the gravitas that only a centuries-old vampire could. Sam, the tale of the night shift meets the approval of the Midnight Society. The Midnight Society members poll on this one was, at the time of recording this video, 97% in favor of, with only 3% against. So my ruling stands. Nice work, Sam. Way to close out the original run of the show.
Great. Cool.
Thank you to my patrons financially supporting the channel on Patreon. Jimmy Purcell, Rick Maxwell, Sean Hart, Jay Booth, Tony Evers, Jessica Tim, EC, JR Green, Emilio Flores, and AJN. If you want early access to videos as well as bonus behind-the-scenes content, you can join my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Check it out at patreon.com/jackofallnerds. Stop on by. I don't bite. Hard.
Yeah, that's real funny.
I want to thank the following Midnight Society members for participating in this video's poll. Wait, what? Do you need help?
Come here. I want to show you something.
Huh, a strange girl I don't know wants to show me something in the middle of the dark woods? I gotta ask myself, what would Zebo do? I'll be right there. Names are on the screen. Okay, what do you want to show me? Your doom! Wait, you're so pale. Are you already a vampire? Yes, I am. Centuries old. I'm Count Laverne of Shirley. Well, my apologies. Good evening. Whew, okay. Oh, that was close. What did you guys think of Sam's story? Did you see it as a kid? Would you follow a hot stranger around a corner in a spooky hallway? Let me know in the comments below. This is the final episode of the original run of the show. The next episode will be the Tale of the Forever game, which kicks off season 6 of the series, which was in essence the first reboot with Tucker taking over the Midnight Society. But before I start season 6, I will be taking a short break. Not in the way that you might think, though. I'm going to make some shorter, fun videos encompassing all of the first 5 seasons. I already did a best and worst tales of season 1, and I'm going to do the same for the other 4 seasons, but I'll also do some videos about like the most popular storytellers, the best and worst tale titles, best and worst villains, and a few other things that I can poll everyone on. The next actual video will most likely be the best and worst tales of season 2. So, until then, are you afraid of the dark?
Confront you and then lick up what's left.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and a share. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when more of these videos go up. If you don't, I will talk like this forever.